Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss on 4 examples on solving cubic equations. So here is the first example. I have x minus 2 is a factor of the px, where the px is a cubic expression, and question asks us to factorize the px completely. Hence, find all the roots when the px equals to 0. So in short, the question is actually asks us to solve the cubic equation where the first factor is given. So how we are going to solve this? We have two methods to find the other quadratic factor for this cubic expression. Okay, the first method is comparing the coefficient, and the second method is a long division. So in this question, I'm going to use a long division method to find the other quadratic factor. So how do I use this long division? I'm going to write my cubic expression, and this is the sign divided by x minus 2. This is my first factor, which is my divisor now. So now I'm going to divide, taking this cubic expression to divide by the x minus 2. So how do we do the division? I'm going to focus on the first term inside my cubic expression and the first term of my divisor. Alright, so 2x cubed divided by x, I got a 2x squared. Okay, or you can say that 2x squared multiplied by x, you got a 2x cubed. Alright, so find out these 2x squared first, then write down 2x squared multiplied by x is equals to 2x cubed right down here. And after that, the 2x squared need to multiply by negative 2 as well. You get a 4x squared. After you have multiplied the 2x squared by these two terms in my divisor, you can take the cubic expression just now minus the what you have multiplied. Alright, then 2x cubed minus 2x cubed, you got 0 here. X squared minus negative 4x squared, you got a 5x squared. Because x squared minus negative 4x squared, you got x squared plus 4x squared. Because negative, you got a positive. And the negative 13x and the 6 you bring down, you have a negative 13x plus 6. After that, I'm going to focus on the first term here, and you can ask yourself 5x squared divided by x, what do you have? You have 5x. Or you might think that in this way, 5x multiplied by x to get a 5x squared. So write down the 5x squared here. And then the 5x also need to multiply by negative 2. You got a negative 10x. After you have taken the 5x multiplied by the x minus 2, all right, then we're taking a subtraction. Subtract from the 5x squared minus 13x plus 6. Okay, minus the 5x squared minus 10x. So the first term, after you have taken the minus, you get 0, and negative 13x minus negative 10x, that you will have a negative 13x plus 10x, that you obtain negative 3x plus 6. All right, bring down the 6. Then after that, focus on the first term again. The first term, negative 3x divided by x, what do you have? You have a negative 3. Or you say that negative 3 multiplied by x, you got a negative 3x. And don't forget, negative 3 need to multiply by negative 2, you got positive 6. Then you got the remainder 0. Alright, so this means that this our expression, our cubic expression px, it can be written as x minus 2 multiplied by its quadratic factor, that is 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. All right. Then in order to factorize completely, we're going to check, is this quadratic factor can be factorized further? If it can, you need to factorize. All right, 2x squared consists of 2x multiplied by x. And then the 3, you put it here. Okay, so this will produce a 1x. This will produce a 6x. In order to get a 5x, you got to put a positive sign here and negative sign here. So in order to get a positive 6x, this has to be positive sign and this has to be negative sign. After this, we need to expand it back. See if you get back this quadratic factor. So this is a 2x squared. All right, and oh yeah, when you got it correct, you can erase this off. And now you move to the next question, because the question continue by asking you to find all the roots when the px equals to 0. Meaning that when the px equals to 0, this factor or this factor, that is your cubic expression in the factor which are factorized completely. This is equals to 0. All right. So when you have a multiplied by b multiplied by c equals to 0, you can say that either a equals to 0 or b equals to 0 or c equals to 0. So from the x minus 2 equals to 0, you got the first root x equals to 2, and the second root is x equals to 1 over 2. Third root will be x equals to negative 3. So this means that you have already solved the px equals to 0. That is a cubic equation. Moving to the next example, again, I have a cubic expression which named as fx, and the question asks us to factorize fx completely with the x minus 1 is one of the factors. So the first factor is given. Hence, solve this equation. So this I will leave it later. Now we're going to factorize this cubic expression completely. Okay, so for this question, I'm going to show you by using the method of comparing the coefficient. So given that the cubic expression is x cubed minus 7x plus 6. All right. If given that the x minus 1 is the first factor, we can write our fx in this form. That is, the first factor multiplied by is a quadratic factor. That is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Because only the linear multiplied by the quadratic, you will get back the cubic. You will get the cubic expression. So assume that the ax squared plus bx plus c is our quadratic factor. Now we're going to find the value of a, b, and c. So I suggest that you expand this first. You have your ax cubed. After we have expanded, we have this. Now I'm going to collect all the like terms and put it together. So the x cubed term only has one term, so that is no like term. And after that, I will collect the x squared term together with the x squared being factored out. Means that I will factor out the x squared. I got my b minus a multiplied by x squared. And the third term is going to be collecting the cx and the negative bx together. So I got my c minus b, factor out the x. Yeah, in the bracket you got c minus b. Lastly, I got my constant, that is negative c. So I'm going to compare the fx, okay, which I name as expression 1, number 1, and the expression number 2. We're going to compare the 1 and the 2 because 1 and the 2, they are actually equal. So now I'm going to compare the coefficient of x cubed. Yeah, compare the coefficient of x cubed, meaning that you will for this expression number 2, you got the coefficient of the x cubed is a. So write down the coefficient of x cubed as a. And looking at the expression number 1, the coefficient of the x cubed is 1. So you can say that the a equals to 1 because 1 is equals to 2, right? So the coefficient of the x cubed must be the same. So a is equals to 1. After that, I'm going to find the b by comparing the coefficient of the x squared. All right. X squared, for the coefficient of the x squared for this expression, I got b minus a. All right. And for the first expression, that the coefficient of the x squared is 0. There is no x squared term here. Yeah. So this is equals to 0. From this equation, I will put in my a as a 1 inside. so that I can solve for my b. The b is equals to 1. So now you already got the value of the b. In order to get the value of the c, I'm going to compare the constant, all right? Or you may compare the coefficient of the x. Since the coefficient of the x include the b, so it's easier for me to just compare the constant, because the constant just consists of c. Now I will just compare the constant. The constant for this second expression is negative c, and the constant given in my cubic expression is 6. So negative c is actually equals to 6, and the c equals to negative 6. So once you have the value of a, b, and the c, now you can substitute the value a, b, c into the assumption that you have made just now. That is your fx equals to x minus 1 multiplied by ax squared plus bx plus c. So now you can write your cubic expression in this form, where the a will be 1. So you got x squared. B will be 1, right? So the b will be 1 multiplied by x, okay, the x term, and the constant will be negative 6. Okay, meaning that the cubic expression which is given by the question, it is the same as the x minus 1 multiplied by x squared plus x minus 6. This is just the factorized form. Then since the question asks us to factorize completely, we got to check. Okay, check whether this quadratic factor can be factorized further. If it can be factorized further, you need to do it. All right. So I got a 6 consists of a 3 multiplied by 2. I put it positive here and negative here. After that, you are going to expand it back to check whether you get back this quadratic factor. All right. So once you have got it correctly, then this is your cubic expression which already factorized completely. After that, back to the question, then we need to solve this. All right, we need to solve x cubed equals to 7x minus 6. To solve this equation, I will move every term to the left-hand side and leave the right hand side to be 0. After you have made this cubic equation into its general form, you will compare with the question with the expression just now. The expression given by the fx is x cubed minus 7x plus 6. So you can see now our equation, the left hand side, is actually equals to fx. So you can say that this is fx equals to 0. Since this is equals to fx, I can replace my fx as the factorized form. That is my x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 2 equals to 0. So now this is already in the factorized form. If you want to solve this cubic equation, it will be so simple. All right. So again, a multiplied by b multiplied by c equals to 0, then you can say that either a is equals to 0 or b equals to 0 or c equals to 0. From here, you can solve for your root. Okay, solve for your solution. So you got 3 solutions. That is x equals to 1, x equals to negative 3, and x equals to 2. All right. Let's move to the third example. Given that x plus 3 is one of the factor of the px, factorized completely. So for this question, the px is not well arranged. We need to arrange it nicely, where the first term should be the x cubed term, and then followed by the x squared, followed by the term of x, followed by the constant. Then we can use the method of long division to find the other quadratic factor. So for this question, I'm going to show by using the long division. Negative 2x squared, 2x cubed minus 11x squared minus 12x plus 9. And we'll put inside this division symbol. And this is the divisor is x plus 3, which this is the first factor given by the question. Again, okay, I'm going to divide this negative 2x cubed divided by x. finding out the first term of our quadratic factor. So negative 2x cubed divided by x, we have a negative 2x squared. Where the negative 2x squared multiplied by x, you have your negative 2x cubed. And negative 2x squared multiplied by 3, you get a negative 6x squared. After that, taking the top function, okay, minus the below one, you get a 0 over here. Negative 11x squared minus negative 6x squared, that you have negative 11x squared plus 6x squared, that you will have negative 5x squared. All right. And then we bring down the negative 12x and a positive 9. Bring this down and bring this down. All right. Then focus on the first term again. First term, that is our negative 5x squared divided by x. Find out what is that. That is your negative 5x. All right. Negative 5x multiplied by x, you have your negative 5x squared. Negative 5x multiplied by 3, you have a negative 15x. Then minus again. The first term minus, you got 0. Negative 12x minus negative 15x, that you have a positive 3x. Alright, and plus 9, bring down the 9. After that, again, I'm going to focus on the first term over here. 3x divided by x, I got my 3, positive 3. So positive 3 multiplied by x, you got a positive 3x plus 3 multiplied by 3, okay, positive 3 multiplied by positive 3, you got a 9. So we got the remainder 0. This means that your function, okay, your function px here, it can be written in this form, that is x plus 3 multiplied by your quadratic factor, that is your negative 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Then, because the question asks us to factorize completely, we need to factorize this quadratic factor, that you have your negative 2x multiplied by x, and this has to be 3, and here it should be 1. All right. This 1 multiplied by x, you got 1x, and negative 2x multiplied by 3, you got negative 6x. Okay, so in order to get a negative 5x, I need to have here is a positive 1x plus negative 6x to get negative 5x. So this has to be positive, this has to be negative. Try to expand it back, okay? Sorry, this has to be positive in order to get a positive 1x. All right, then I will erase this off. Okay, so this is not yet factorized completely. I need to factorize out the negative. So I got x plus 3. And once you factor out the negative from this factor, you got a 2x minus 1 and multiply by x plus 3. You can see that these two factors, they are repeating. So you can just combine them by writing x plus 3 squared multiplied by 2x minus 1. Let's move to the fourth example, and this is the last example in this video. We're going to have a px, okay, we have the px in this form. We can see that this is actually a cubic expression, but it's not well arranged yet. Okay, express the px as a product of the three linear factor, meaning that they ask us to find out the px in this form. Okay, three linear factors, all right, and then yes, they're not asking us to solve it. They just ask us to factorize completely, where the first factor is the x minus 2. Okay, so in order to find the px in this form, I'm going to expand this first, and writing down is a general form. Yeah, okay. So writing down the cubic expression given by the question first, and trying to expand and simplify. After you have expanded this, okay, you have this. Now I'm collecting the like terms together. So the 2x cubed is the only term with the x cubed, and collecting the like term for the x squared term. These two terms, we're going to combine it. You will have a negative 13x squared. And the x term, you have a 15 minus 2, 15x minus 2x, that will be 13x. Okay, then 3 plus 7 is a constant term, you got a 10. Okay, so now the question tells us that the x minus 2 is my first factor of the px. So in this question, I'm going to use the comparing coefficient method. Means that the px can be written as a x minus 2 multiplied by another quadratic factor that is can represent it with the ax squared plus bx plus c. So again, I'll try to expand this so easy for me to compare later on. Okay, so you have your ax cube, all right, and x multiplied by bx, you have your bx squared plus cx minus 2ax squared minus 2 multiplied by b, you got negative 2bx. Negative 2 multiplied by c, you got negative 2c. Okay, so collecting all the like terms, again, the ax cube is the only term with the x cube. And the bx squared, where I'm going to combine these two terms and factor out the x squared. I will get a b minus 2a multiplied by the x squared. And then the x term is cx minus 2bx. Okay, so factor out the x, I got my c minus 2b. All right, then multiply by x minus 2c. This is a constant. So now I'm going to compare this cubic expression with the expression that I formed just now. All right, so these two expressions, they are equal. They are equal, meaning that now I can find the ABC by comparing the coefficient of the s cube first. Okay, we can compare the coefficient of the s cube to get the a first. So for this equation, for this expression, I got the equation coefficient of s cube is a, and the first expression given by the question is 2. So now you already got the a equals to 2. To get a b, I'm going to compare the coefficient of the x squared, where this coefficient of the x squared for this expression is b minus 2a. So b minus 2a will be equate to this coefficient that is negative 13. Solve for the b by substituting the a as a 2. I got a 2 multiplied by 2, that will be 4 equals to negative 13. So b will be equals to, here you get a negative 9. After you get the value of a, b, and c, I'm going to substitute back into this px, which is in the factorized form. Okay, where the a, b, and c is going to be replaced by 2, negative 9, and negative 5. Okay, so my px here can be written as x minus 2, where this is your first factor, and the second quadratic factor will be a 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. Okay, then you need to check whether this quadratic factor can be factorized further. All right, we try. 2x multiplied by x and then 5, 1. To get a negative 9, this will be negative, this will be positive. All right, then we expand back to check if we got back this quadratic factor. All right, after that, back to the question. Okay, the question just asks us to express the PS as the product of the three linear factors without asking us to solve for the PS equals to 0. So this will be our final answer. Okay, so thank you for watching.